Hey everyone, it's Allison here with New Little Life. I'm an internationally board certified lactation consultant, a nurse, a doula, and a mom of 3 little boys. Here on the New Little Life podcast, we'll talk with real moms about their breastfeeding experience, the good parts and the bad, and share real and practical advice about breastfeeding. Connect with and learn from other moms and professionals to help you meet your breastfeeding goals. Hello, welcome back to the podcast. Today, our interview is with Jessica, and Jessica is a mom of 1 and the owner of Milk Bliss. I actually found her on Instagram. She's killing it over on Instagram, and she'll tell you a little bit more about her business at the end of the interview. It's super cool, but she has a great story to share with us today that is extremely relatable for a lot of moms out there. She has a really non-judgmental way of thinking, and I loved hearing her explain some of the things she did with her daughter and why she did them. It was super interesting to listen to her. So I know you'll enjoy this interview today. If you have a second and you'd like to support the podcast, you can visit our Patreon, which is linked in the show notes today. Even just a small donation helps cover the cost of the podcast and helps it keep going, helps me be able to find guests and to do some really awesome fun things for you. So you can also go and check out a lot of resources that we have over on Instagram. We're growing a lot over there, and there'll be links in the show notes to all of that stuff and to Jessica's stuff, because I know you're going to want to check out more about her after you listen. So let's jump over to the interview. Here's Jessica. Well, hey, Jessica, let's start this chat. We've just been talking for a bit, and you're the kind of person I could talk to all day. So this is going to be a really fun interview, I think. Cool. All right, let's just start out. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family and your business and all that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Jessica. I'm 40 years old now, which is crazy to say.
Great woman. Yeah, I know. You look like 20 years younger than that.
Oh, no, I don't.
Yes.
No, I have like lighting and makeup and all this stuff.
Well, it's beautifully done.
Thanks. I have a 3.5-year-old with my husband, Greg. So I was 36 when I got pregnant with her. And actually, I got pregnant as a surprise on our honeymoon. So
congratulations.
It was a very big surprise.
And welcome to marriage.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it was like our wedding gift from God. So that was nice of him, and also shocking. I wasn't expecting pregnancy to be that simple at that age.
Yeah.
And since then, pregnancy has been much more difficult. So we've been wanting to have another baby for a long time, and that has not worked out. So it's sort of bitter.
Isn't that crazy how that happens?
No, it's so bizarre.
Life.
Yes, life. But yeah, that's me. I started my business, Milk Bliss, where we sell lactation cookies and lactation cookie mixes right after, about 6 months after I had Cora, my baby, at the time.
Wow. What a big undertaking.
Yeah, it was I would recommend if you're going to start a business to try not to know anything about it before you start it, because otherwise you probably wouldn't do it. If I had known then what I know now,
actually.
I wouldn't do. Yeah, being naive can be really beneficial.
I can totally relate, as I've accidentally created my business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, had I known the workload that goes into that, you're right. I'm not sure I would have started. I'm glad I'm here. But
Me too. I'm so glad that we figured it all out. But there was definitely a lot of, especially with a new baby. I had a business partner,
I can't even imagine.
To start. So that helped because we shared the time. But we were going to like a commercial kitchen and baking thousands of cookies. Wow. And then taking breaks to go pump in our cars, that's what it was.
She had a new baby too.
Our kids are 6 weeks apart.
Oh my word. You guys.
I know. It was like, what were we thinking? We really did think it was going to be easy. We didn't think it was going to get as big as it did. So that was part of it too. But yeah, I think just didn't know.
Yeah. And it sucks to have to kind of sacrifice your personal goals and desires, like just because you're a mom. So good for you. Go get it.
Yeah. 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 Again, we just had no idea.
Yeah. More than
we were in too deep when we realized that we might be in too deep, and then it was like, well, too late.
Gotta do it.
Yeah. I'm going to make this work now.
Oh, that's so cool. All right. Well, I would love to know about your little one and kind of your breastfeeding experience. Had you planned on breastfeeding? Did you grow up around breastfeeding? What was your experience
Yeah. Yeah,
before you
good
got
question.
pregnant?
I did. I wouldn't say I grew up around breastfeeding necessarily, but I have an older sister who's 6 years older than me and had her children young. So she breastfed both of her kids.
Mhm.
She's like a full-time career woman, so she was working and doing it. Um, I guess I never really questioned whether or not I would do it. I always thought I would. I just didn't see any reason not to. I had nothing against it, but I also wasn't like necessarily passionate about doing it. I think I was looking forward to it. Having children later in life, I wanted to
Yeah.
have the whole experience and do all of the things so that I wouldn't look back and think, oh man, I really wish I would have, you know, done that. But my mom breastfed my sister and I, and, was very sort of open about her experience with me. And we talked through a lot of things, especially as I started having some issues, I would say, like hiccups with
Yeah.
it. And so having her be supportive was really helpful.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Did you take any classes or anything? Do YouTube? I think people go on there to find information. Did you do anything to prepare for breastfeeding?
Not really. Um,
Just kind of wing it as you go kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was depending on the lactation consultants in the hospital to kind of teach
Yeah.
me what to do while I was there, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend now. I mean, I know so much more now, not only just having done it, but having it being in the lactation space and working. I
Yeah.
work with a ton of lactation consultants and IBLCs, and do all sorts of different things with them. And so because of that, I've learned a lot, but it also made me realize that there's so much to know that people don't know, like, I mean, a lot of us go into it knowing almost nothing.
Yeah, it's such a catch-22 because, like, you can take a class before, but you don't have it's like learning to ride a bike, but they haven't given you the bike yet, like,
Yeah.
how do
How do you
you
teach
they're telling you
practical?
this stuff
Hmm.
and you're like, I don't have a baby, like, I've never tried this, like, this is hard." But then again, you do have some knowledge to when you do have that baby, hopefully you can draw on a little bit, so kind of a, you know, catch-22,
It
like I
makes me
said.
think, like, it makes me curious about what things were like before we had all the resources that we have now. Like, you can
Right?
pretty
I
much,
thought that same thing.
yes, you could, like, because you can answer almost any question that you have about almost anything on YouTube. Like, YouTube is so amazing for that reason. Like, I found you on YouTube, like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's like whatever. But like, what did people do before that? And I think that there was more community, more face
Yeah.
to face interaction with other moms. Like, I know my mom was part of like a Bible study group that was mostly young, newly married, younger children group. And I would imagine that that's where she got a lot of her information. 'Cause my mom was 20 years old when she had my sister. So,
Oh,
or maybe she
man.
was 22. I think she was maybe been 22. But, you're like a kid when you're 22. You're trying
Yeah.
to figure this stuff out. She had no idea what she was doing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the community just looked different. They had an actual community of, like,
Hmm.
face-to-face people, because
Hmm.
women have been helping women breastfeed
Forever,
forever,
all of time. Yeah.
and if something's wrong, you don't have milk, like, you bring in your friend,
Yeah.
bring in your wet nurse,
Yeah.
and that's just, like, what you do,
Yes.
and so, yeah, I think you're right. I think our community just looks different. It's a lot more online, a lot more
Hmm.
virtual, and then even more with all this COVID stuff,
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean.
100%. I think it's almost all completely virtual now. So thank goodness that we have that, opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there are Facebook groups that you can join where you can receive or donate milk. Like, if you
Yeah.
they're like in almost every single city now. There's like I think it's called Human Milk for Human Babies or something like that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you can go on there, and if you're drying up and you want to make sure that your child gets breast milk, you can get it. Like, how incredible is that? But
Yeah,
like
it's an
you said,
awesome
it would be
resource.
like maybe you went to your neighbor or something in 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, crazy.
Hmm.
Okay, so tell me what breastfeeding was like for you then, um, after you had your baby. So the first few days, weeks, start wherever you want.
Yeah, so, I actually had a ton of colostrum, so I didn't know at the time that you potentially could pump that off and save it or kind of hand express it and save it, and I wish I would have because I had plenty, um
Like while you were pregnant or after
while
delivery?
I was pregnant.
Okay,
But that
yeah.
it was about the same after delivery too. Like the
Yeah.
nurses in the hospital, I was making lactation cookies before I had the baby, not because I thought I was going to start a business at all, but because I knew I was going to breastfeed and I wanted to have some things in the freezer. I was like prepping
Oh, what a
meals,
good
and
idea. Yeah.
so I did it
Did you
for that.
freeze your cookies? This is totally off
Yeah.
topic.
Oh yeah.
That's
I had a ton
awesome.
of stuff in the freezer ready for like when I came
So
home,
cool.
because we don't really have a ton of family around, and so I just wanted to be prepared. So I had cookies that I saved, but while I was I was eating them too. And I don't know if that's
Yeah.
why I had colostrum, like a decent amount or not. Maybe I just naturally did, but regardless, I
Yeah,
did.
some women do for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I had some, and so initially that was fine. The first couple of days with the baby, that was fine. And then when my milk came in, it was like in an insane. I would have this like insane letdown that would like squirt everywhere. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was so watery, and when I would try to feed the baby, it would just she was like choking on it, like it was just it was everywhere. It was crazy. I was stuffing my bra with. I didn't know about the haka or like anything.
I know, aren't they so it's crazy even 3 years ago, 4 years
It
ago,
like
you
didn't
know?
exist.
It was different,
Yes, I know,
yes.
I know. I wish that I would have. I don't even think they had that back then. I don't even know if the Hakka existed then, but
I can't
I
remember.
was soaking up all that milk on the other side with like burp cloths, and now I'm looking back like, "Oh my gosh, like I could have saved all of that milk," and it was like soaking through a burp cloth. But that's what I would
Yeah.
do. I would like shove it in, on one side while I was feeding her on the other side, and I had to use a shield simply because otherwise it was just coming too quickly and she just like couldn't
Yeah,
she
okay.
couldn't drink it. So that was kind of initially. I don't know how long that lasted. Everything's such a blur. Um, but I did use
Isn't it crazy? In the moment, it's like, "Oh my gosh, it's overwhelming, like, my life," and then now you're like, I don't
it
really"
might have been like a
a
month, like
blur,
or a
yeah.
couple weeks. Like I
Yeah,
remember
yeah. That
exactly
sounds
like
about right.
what I did to use the shield. Like I would fill up a cup with hot water, and after I finished feeding her, I would like put it in that so that the next time when I came out 2.5 hours later or whatever, I could just get it out. But like that's how I like sterilized it. I would just stick it in like a thing of boiling water. So I did that for a while, and then once my milk started to regulate, I think that's when I started to realize that there might be an issue because I was having a lot of pain and cracking,
Okay.
and um the my I always felt my letdown. I guess some people don't. If I think about it hard now, I feel like I can still feel what it felt like.
Yes, I'm the same way,
Like
yeah, it
I
does not
always
you
felt
can
like it was.
totally mentally
Yes.
get a letdown, yeah.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I could bring it on mentally at the time. But once my milk started to regulate, that's when I think I started to realize, like, I don't think at this point I should still be having so much discomfort. And I think I talked to the pediatrician about it and they looked in her mouth. And so it was a while before they realized that she was lip and tongue tied. And my sister has a son who's severely tongue tied too. So I don't know if it's genetic or kind of like you just like won the crappy lottery or what. I don't know. But my daughter has both. And so we took her to see an ENT, like a pediatric ENT,
Mhm.
and they said, they could do a revision. I didn't know at the time too that you can see other people for this. Like you can see a dentist too, like a pediatric dentist, I think
Hmm.
can do a revision. But we were told that we should see an ENT, so that's what we did. And our insurance wouldn't cover the revision.
Really?
No, none of it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was gonna be like a couple $1,000s or something, and we couldn't afford it at the time, so we didn't do it. So she still has it to this day. Her lip tie
Wow.
isn't that bad, but I do or her tongue tie isn't that bad. And she can stick her tongue out like, a decent amount, and but her lip tie is a little tight, and I'm concerned about that with her teeth. at some point in the future, but it definitely affected our breastfeeding journey for sure. Um, I
Yeah. Is she speaking now? Does she have any
No, she doesn't have
speech
any issue. No, no,
problems?
she speaks
Awesome.
perfectly fine. Yeah, she doesn't have any issues with speech, and
Good.
I think if she had, back when she started talking really young. But when she started talking, we probably would have considered doing a revision at that point in time.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. She hasn't been to the dentist yet, and she's 3.5. I know I need to do that.
Dude, I just took my kids. He was like 6. And I'm like, but we had PCS, we have moved so much with the
Yeah.
military. And I'm like, so sorry. And she was like, he has like 9 cavities. So I'm gonna have to fill
Oh
these,
my
And I'm like,
god.
stop.
Oh
I'm like,
no.
my
Oh,
precious teeth, I swear.
that's my
So
sign
you're not
to
as bad as me.
just make the appointment.
My 4-year-old only had like maybe a start, like he didn't have to have any. So maybe yours is golden. But yeah, I waited too long with my 6-year-old.
Oh
I shouldn't
gosh.
admit bad things I do on my own podcast. People are
Well,
gonna be
it's
like,
relatable because I think that a lot of people are probably
right?
in the same position. And you just don't think that they
So
need it.
bad.
You know, I don't know why you just assume that like they're just baby teeth anyway.
Yeah.
They're gonna fall out.
I know, but she's like, he has 9 of them, and these baby teeth are going to be in until he's 12. Like, you have to fix it. And I'm
Oh
like,
no.
okay, I'm so
Oh
sorry.
no. All right. Well, maybe I'll go. I should make an
Anyway, there you
appointment soon.
go.
But
Everyone should take your kids to the
go
dentist.
to the
Yeah.
dentist. Yeah. I think between 3 and 4 is when you should typically do
Shoot.
it at least. But
Yeah.
maybe when we take her, they'll say at that point, that like the dentist might say, this is going to affect her teeth,
Yeah.
because she has a pretty significant gap between her front teeth. And so I don't know, we'll see at that point. But I did have pain and discomfort the entire time I was breastfeeding. Yes,
Really?
it never went away. And
So, did you use this shield the whole
no,
time, or were
no.
you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so that was just in the beginning until you got your letdown figured out,
Yes.
and then you took that away, and that's when you noticed, like, this is uncomfortable for me.
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah. It may not have been right away, but yeah, I kept asking like my mom, like, at what point does it like stop hurting? And she was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like maybe some people, it just always is uncomfortable, like it just sort of it always felt like someone was sort of like pinching,
Yeah. Okay.
like kind of just,
And probably from the ties, just a
right.
really shallow
A
latch.
shallow
Yeah.
I could see from just like her mouth, like the way I could physically see that she had a shallow latch. So yeah, that's kind of what it felt like someone was sort of just pinching like my nipples the whole time. And I never
Yeah.
ever, this is going to be controversial, I'm sure. My mom told me this too, and I took it like to the grave, but I never ever ever nursed her for more than 15 minutes on either side. I always did both sides every single
Yeah.
time. And I never did more than 15 minutes. And my business partner at the time was like, oh my gosh, my son will nurse for like an hour. And I was like, I would never do that. Like
Yeah.
I would do 15 minutes, even if she was still eating, I'd be like, okay, time to switch sides. After that was done. And usually it was 10 minutes. Like I would like time it and be like, okay, that's it. And then if she wanted to eat again in like an hour, then that was okay. I would do that. But I would never sit with her for more than a half an hour.
Hmm. Was that based on the advice you got, or was it like a pain thing? Like you didn't want her on there because it hurt longer?
No, it was definitely based on the advice I got. My mom said that's what she
Yeah.
did. She was like, if you don't want to, basically, she was like, don't be like a pacifier for them, like just, there's no need. Like they should be able to eat what they need to eat in that amount of time. This was just her advice. I am not giving this advice to anyone
No.
else.
This happens a lot. I think you get this kind of thing that someone told you, and you're like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So what do you think
Especially when
about
it's
that
your
advice
mom.
now? Like, would you do that way again?
Probably, because it did work for us.
Yeah.
My little girl has always been a very healthy weight, like high on the curve of weight.
Yeah.
So she's never been like a small child. And so I just assumed she was getting everything that she needed from that amount of time. And I guess she was. I mean, it ended up working out.
Cool.
I don't know that I would do it again. There's a lot of things I would do differently. I
Yeah.
would find the money and go get the revision. So if we have,
Would you?
yes, if we have another child, which I guess is probably likely that they would have another tie, then I will get it revised, while they're young still, and they don't have to be put under anesthesia, or it's like nothing
Yeah.
major. Yeah, I definitely would. And now I have so many more resources now too. Like I know physical
Yeah.
therapists that work with kids that have ties to make sure that it doesn't reattach. And I didn't know any of those people before.
Yeah. Man, that's just crazy, isn't it? You learn so much and no one tells you how to do this. You know what I mean?
No, and you don't even think, you don't think to seek out any of this type of thing. I mean, you could take a breastfeeding class. I think a lot of people take breastfeeding classes before they, while they're still pregnant.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what's all covered in that because we didn't really have access to that. So we didn't do it. We just took like the standard, you know, birth class. But
Yeah.
there, I know that breastfeeding classes exist for preparing for it. Um, but yeah, I think most of the time you kind of seek out the exact problem that you're having instead.
Yeah, I agree. And even like a breastfeeding course, like the ones I teach, is really just the basics,
Yeah.
because there's a lot. It's a lot. You know what I mean? Like I'm an IBCLC, like I've studied this
Hmm.
for years and I still only know
Hmm.
this much.
Yeah.
There's just so much. So in a breastfeeding class, we really just cover the basics like how do these hormones work? How does your milk supply work? How do you latch your baby?
Yeah.
What signs to look for mean that you need more help? And that's it. Like we don't cover tongue ties and mastitis and like
Yeah.
all this stuff because it's like you said, when you have this problem, go find some help and then we'll help you,
Right. Yes. And
you
I
know?
think a lot of times too with an
Yeah.
IBLC, they need to like see you, they need
Yeah.
to see the latch and like examine you as like a patient. So, you can kind of say like, I have this incredible, like crazy letdown that's,
Mhm.
spraying just choking my baby. And if I was an LC, I would say, I need to see you. Like I have to see this for myself to help you. So that's
Yeah.
part of it too.
Yeah, that forceful letdown is interesting. A lot of moms have that as well, and you're right, the babies kind of just choke and they're not choking, but it's just like a lot of milk in your
Yes,
face,
yes. Yeah,
and
there's like especially like, in the middle of the night, like they're kind of just
mm,
waking up and they're hungry, and for me, the shield just helped to control that
yeah,
flow.
definitely.
And I do think it helped her with her oral issues too, but I didn't know really that at the time, and I didn't want to continue to use a shield forever. It's inconvenient,
Yeah, they're a pain in the butt.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I had read a whole bunch of, negative things about them. Like you don't want them being sort of reliant on that. But it could have possibly helped me like later, I guess, but I just,
Yeah.
honestly, a lot of the time, I just kind of thought this is just the way that it is. We also had a little bit of an issue. Like we tried giving her formula when she was like
Mm.
around 3 months old. We went to visit family and we wanted to go out for the night. So I had some formula that we brought. And I was like, if I never had a lot of milk, like extra, because I was
Yeah.
exclusively breastfeeding. So just, she was emptying me.
Mhm.
So I was like, if she gets hungry, just mix up some formula, give it to her. And we were traveling, so I didn't have like my freezer stash with me,
Yeah.
and we wanted to go out. So anyway, long story short, she ended up having like a really bad reaction to it. And we
Oh,
still really don't. She's always kind of had some issues with milk. We don't really give her like a ton of dairy, but um,
yeah.
she like she like projectile like vomited like shortly after drinking the bottle. And then we tried again that same visit. We just thought she was sick, thought maybe she had an
Yeah.
upset stomach or something. We tried again that same visit maybe a few days later to do it again, and the same thing happened. And I was like, okay, like I went upstairs to check on her. She was asleep and she had like vomited all over her entire like
Oh, poor
pack and play was like soaked. Her clothes were soaked. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And here she had thrown up all that formula. Um, so that was when she was like 3 months old. And I was so scared to ever give her formula again, that I was like, okay, like we got to make this breastfeeding thing work. And I almost like sort of tortured myself, make it, forcing myself to do it. So I totally can like I have such like empathy for however you want to feed your baby. I really support whatever. Obviously, I'm in the breastfeeding space and I do believe that breast milk is probably what's best for babies. But I completely can relate to all the different, you know, issues that people have and why they might choose to not breastfeed,
Yeah. It's a variety of reasons why
So many
you would
reasons.
either be an exclusive pumper or you combination feed with some formula and breast milk,
Hmm.
or you strictly formula feed. I mean,
Yep.
it's just everyone's scenario is so
And most
different.
people go through, I think, like trying out different things. We tried after that
Yeah.
initial time, we tried a bunch of different formulas to see if those would work. We did those really crazy ones that smell really bad that are for
Yeah.
whatever issues the baby might be having.
Like sensitive stomachs or, like
Yes,
all
there
the
was one that you can buy that's like pre-made. It's like whatever, but it was like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
$11 or something, like a day.
Gosh.
It was like crazy. We tried that. She wouldn't even touch it. She wouldn't even drink it. She smelled it and was like, no.
Oh,
So, we tried a bunch of things too. I wasn't against supplementing with formula because I was looking at going back to work,
yeah.
too. And I was kind of freaking out. Like, how am I going to do this? Like, what are we going to do? I went back to work full time when she was 8 months old. And I was like, I don't know. It was a crazy time.
So what did that look like when you went back to work? Did you pump at work? Were you able to make enough for her? What was your schedule like there?
Yeah, I was able to, but it was really stressful.
Really?
Yes, I did pump at work. But I was working at a place. I live in New Jersey, and where I worked was a little bit of a drive on a normal day, but New Jersey traffic can sometimes be like LA traffic, or like, it's crazy. It would sometimes take me 2 hours to get home, when without traffic, it would take me a half an hour to get to work. So
Oh, that's
like,
crazy.
so on those like rides home, my husband would be calling me saying like, "Where are you?" She's screaming, like he had already given her what was left in our freezer, which was usually only one or two, pouches. I was definitely like one of those moms that would look on Instagram and somebody would show their whole freezer full of milk and be like so envious, like, oh my gosh, like I see that as freedom, like freedom from
Yeah.
stress. And that was never our situation. We never,
Yeah.
we never had more than maybe five, 2-ounce little pouches in the freezer. And, we would go through those. And then I would be so panicked, like,
Yeah. Stressful.
crying, trying to
Yeah.
get home from work, like knowing that she's hungry and I need to like, and then as soon as I walk in the door, having to feed her, not being able to really eat anything or sit down or, like it was just immediate, like felt like going from one job to another job.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did you end up breastfeeding her?
14 months.
Yeah. And you were still working at that point?
Yeah. I started
Yeah.
working
So
when
you
she
kind of,
was when she was 8 months, and I worked until I wasn't able to like switch over full time to my business until she was like 3.
yeah. Okay. Do you remember what the weaning process looked like for you? Were you ready for that? Did it go well? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so once she turned 1 and we were, like, allowed then to give her milk, then we kinda went through that same process of trying to find milk that would work for her, and ultimately, we got lucky, and she was able to drink Lactaid with no problem. So I don't know if she kinda grew out of some of her dairy issues that she had when she was a
Can
baby, or, you know, it was a lactose specific thing, or, like, I'm not sure what happened. So we started messing around with that, and then obviously she was eating solids too. We kinda did like a combo of baby-led weaning and purees.
Yeah.
So for the most part, between all of the things, like me pumping, her having solids, cereals, and, kind of sometimes having milk, like weaning her from like even just 12 months to 14 months, she just wasn't interested anymore.
Hmm.
We had dropped down to pretty much I was really only nursing her in like the morning and at night, and then
Okay.
just at night, and then around 14 months, she almost didn't even want that, she just didn't. So I would have done it longer, but it seemed like she wasn't interested anymore. I don't know, it was strange.
Yeah, just kind of self-wean. Some babies do that.
Yeah.
I mean, and then some babies, if you let them self-wean, they'll probably be still breastfeeding in kindergarten,
Right, totally. Yeah, I mean, I know I have friends and I know people
Yeah.
who are still breastfeeding their like 4-year-old. So I don't think she ever, like, that would be like me still nursing her now And like sometimes I kind of wish we were like, when I like hold her and stuff, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like I wish that we still had that sort of closeness. But she would never do that. She's
No.
very independent. She was not interested.
But then you remember the freedom that comes with not breastfeeding.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That for me, that's the hardest part of breastfeeding for me is how tied down and like not stuck, but you just can't leave your baby.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And if
Um,
you do, you got to deal with milk,
yeah, that's what I meant about
So,
like when I would
yeah.
see people with the freezer stash of like to me, like that looked like freedom too. Like being able to leave her with my husband without having to worry, that all he would need to do is heat up, one of those pouches and feed her and everything would be fine. And I would be able to go shopping or, even when I would go shopping, I would have to bring her with me. She had to come with me everywhere.
Yeah.
Unless I was working, she was always with me because I couldn't afford to leave her. And then, also there wasn't some of these like newer pumps where you can like just go about your day and put them in your bra. Like
Totally.
that
Yeah.
wasn't a thing, even 3.5 years ago. So
Mhm.
now I feel like I feel like it would be easier. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't, I'm not breastfeeding currently. So I don't know, but maybe you can answer that if you think it's easier this time than
Right.
your
There's just a
first.
lot more
Yeah.
options for moms. And I think it's still hard, like you still have all these obstacles, but there are a lot more resources and new things
Mhm.
that are geared to help make moms' lives easier.
Yeah.
So I think like for your situation, yeah, there are some things that could have made that
Yeah.
easier or now,
Yeah, if they
but I
existed at the
agree.
time.
3 years ago doesn't seem like that long,
I
but
know. But like the
yeah,
Willow pump and the EV pump, the ones that are cordless,
totally.
those did not exist even 3 years
No.
ago, 3.5 years ago. Like they just didn't.
And for working moms or commuting moms like you, like that would be gold money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I didn't even know,
Yeah.
like, I think you can plug something like into your car,
Yeah, I've seen some like
like adapter for
lighter
your pump.
adapters.
And like,
Mhm.
I didn't even know that that was a thing because that potentially could have helped too. There were times where
Yeah.
I fully brought my whole entire pump, and I would be pumping in the car with my gigantic pump, like sitting on the seat next to me,
Yeah.
like if it was charged or whatever. Um, but yeah, that was like very, you're like driving and the thing is hanging off of you. Like it's just,
Especially in New Jersey traffic, I can just
yeah,
picture
someone
you
looking over like
like
a
in the
trucker.
traffic jam, like
Yeah,
oh,
literally
the truckers are the
because they
worst
can
because
see in. Yes.
they're so
And then you're
high
like,
and they can see right down.
right.
Oh gosh,
Yes, it's
yeah.
very odd. Super awkward.
I wonder if they have like pumping mom jokes or something around the checker world,
Oh my
like
gosh, I
because that's
wonder.
got to
I'm
happen.
sure they
Like
see
they probably see
stuff.
that a
They probably
lot.
see crazy stuff. Yeah, looking down into
Oh
people's
man.
cars.
I gotta find someone who's in that business to be on the
You
podcast so we
should.
can
How
get
often
the
do
good
you see moms like
stories.
trying to breastfeed while they're driving?
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to know your favorite part about breastfeeding. I'm also probably going to ask you the hardest part about breastfeeding, but
Okay.
let's do the good one first. Like, what's your favorite part about breastfeeding?
Mm, I love like knowing that like I can provide whatever like my child needs. I think the science behind breastfeeding is so interesting. So that and then also like that I'm the only one that can have that relationship with her. I that felt special, to me and like that felt important.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I
I miss
agree.
it.
Total to be like their person, like
Yeah.
the one person that they just like want and they can get them
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. You're the
Yeah,
only one that they can, live off of.
yeah. Is there anything in your mind that sticks out as kind of the hardest part of breastfeeding, or maybe your least favorite? Or
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It was like the freedom aspect for me.
yeah,
I just felt like it more than anything else felt like a job. And I felt resentful about that a lot of the time.
yeah. Is there any advice or something that you would give to a new mom who's wanting to breastfeed? Anything from your experience that you think could help someone that's planning on doing this?
Yeah, I would say if you don't have like a lot of support from like women around you who have been through it and can help you with some issues, that you might come across, then join a Facebook group, because there are a lot of
Yeah.
great ones that, that for whatever situation you're in, there's like a group for that. And Facebook's the
Yes.
easiest place to find it. You can join one today,
Mhm.
and you can be as active on there as you want to be. And I've noticed that those groups are very active and people are so willing to help, and I would say that that's such a great resource, and do that. Like, even if you're not having problems, you should do it.
Find the support in kind of your little mom
Yeah,
community.
like if you're dedicated to
Awesome.
exclusively breastfeeding, there's a Facebook group for that. If you're exclusively pumping, then and you want to do that, and you don't want to, like, you want to be held accountable for that. There's a Facebook group for that. Or if you want something less, you know, whatever. You just want support no matter what your choices are. There's a group for that too. So,
Yeah.
like, and Instagram too, although I think that groups are just a better platform.
For that kind of thing,
Yeah.
I agree. Because, Instagram's hit and miss. Some of the accounts I follow are like Insta moms, and I makes me end up kind of feeling bad. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not that. And
Like,
then some of them
put
are super
together.
helpful and uplifting, but it's hard to weed it out. So
Right.
I agree. The Facebook groups is a nice place for community, asking questions, kind of just being in the same place as
And
other
being able to get answers,
moms
like,
too.
almost right away,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and you can
Because
take it
those moms are
offline
always up
and
in the middle of the night. They're over here.
right.
It's
And you never
crazy.
know where they are. They could be all over the whole world. So, like, you could type something and someone could get back to you right away and there's your answer. Like, it's incredible. It's a great resource.
That's so cool. I would actually like to know a little bit about your business and what you do over there. Because I actually, before we started, I was stalking your Instagram, which is really, really cute.
Oh,
I love
thanks.
it. So I would love to. Can you tell us a little bit about your business, kind of what you do, what your goals are currently?
Yeah. So, basically, like, out of everything that I went through as like a breastfeeding mom, I ended up developing a lactation cookie recipe that I was really excited about. And I had a friend who lived across the hall at the time who had a baby 6 weeks after me. So our kids were super close together, and she had a lot of the same issues that I had with breastfeeding. So after I kind of, like, I've always been a baker. It's been a passion of mine my entire life. So after I sort of developed this recipe, I just shared it with her, and I was like, "Here, I have all these cookies. Try these and see if they help you." She was looking at going back to work, and her supply was dipping, and they helped her too. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, these are so much better than everything else that I've tried." And I was like, "Yeah, because they're homemade. Like, they were, obviously better."
Yeah.
And so I started thinking about it more and more and more after talking with her. And she is still a corporate lawyer. So I just messaged her and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about maybe making like a little hobby business out of this. Could you give me some legal advice on how to set it up?" And she was like, "Sure. Do you have a business plan?" I was like, "I'm kind of working on one." So I went over and met with her, and we had this whole meeting where she walked me through what she thought I should do as far as setting it up legally. And then at the end, she said, "Is there any chance you might be interested in a partner?" And I was like, "Whoa, like, yes." That would
Yeah,
be
sign me up. How do I
really
get a partner? I
helpful,
want that.
right? Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
it happened very naturally. She really believed in, what I was doing, and so
Cool.
we sort of started by sharing them with other friends that we had that were pregnant or breastfeeding, and kind of did this whole little community outreach to just really do research. And we had like really good results, and so we decided to just like launch a Shopify store and try to sell them, to whoever wanted them at the time. And it really just grew from there very slowly, like very organically. And we kind of developed some more flavors and then some more products, and tried to make things a little bit easier by developing a mix that you can make whenever you need it. So the mix can stay in your pantry for 18 months. So it's like a
Wow.
great thing to just give somebody that wants to breastfeed or is breastfeeding. It's like, here, just in case, you can kind of keep this and then just make them in 10 minutes, whenever you need them. And they're exactly like homemade cookies. They don't have any preservatives. They're all natural. So instead of going
Oh,
out
I
and
love
buying all the
cookie mix. That's
ingredients, all
awesome.
you need to have in your
Mhm.
house is a stick of butter and 2 eggs. and then you can make them so easily. So that's actually become like our best selling product, because of that reason. It's just so
Yeah.
flexible, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's what happened. And it's been fun and, challenging and all of the things. And I feel very blessed because now I'm able to do it full time and, be able to be home with my little one, which was kind of always my goal.
Yeah. That's awesome. I do not enjoy baking, so I'm super glad for people like you that
Well,
do it for me and put it in a mix so that I can have
it's my
cookies.
favorite. I like to cook too, but I love to bake. Baking is such a science experiment. Like, if you do the smallest thing wrong, you will literally ruin whatever you're making. But I like that about it. I don't know. I like to fill the house with like the warm, I don't know. I don't just bake cookies. I bake everything. I bake all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how you stay so thin and in shape doing all that because I'd probably be
Oh my
baking
God, I'm
sweets
not.
like every other day.
I'm not in shape.
Ah!
We've had a challenging year and my weight has like, I mean, everyone has, right? COVID has been a
Mhm.
challenging year and my weight has been all over the place and it's frustrating. As you get older, that gets harder, but especially if you like to bake. But now I bake healthy stuff. I try to stick with gluten free and try to stay low on sugar, and you can still bake and do it in a good, healthy way.
That's cool. I bet in your science experiments, you're like, what can I replace the sugar with? Or like, how can I
100%.
make this
Yes.
a
And
little lower
luckily, like
calories?
there's a
Like, that's
recipe
awesome.
for everything online,
Yeah.
So I mostly just follow other people's recipes. I don't try to like reinvent the wheel.
So where do I find your cookies and your stuff? Like, I think I kind of need some of those in my life.
Oh, thank
I
you.
have a 6-month-old, so
You do.
we're,
Well, I will
yeah.
send you some for sure. But we are on Amazon in the United States.
Cool.
So that's probably the easiest place. Or our website is milkbliss.com. So milkbliss.com. And I am super duper connected with like anyone who reaches out to me on Instagram. So
Cool.
if you're hearing this and you need me to connect you with any um, resources or help with your breastfeeding journey, I'm happy to do that. You can reach out to me on Milk Bliss, just at Milk Bliss on Instagram, Milk Bliss Cookies on TikTok. I talk to people on there
We
a
were
lot
just talking
too.
about, I'm
Uh,
not brave enough for
I
TikTok,
love
but I
it.
am going to go check yours
I
out.
love it. Oh,
I can't
you
wait.
should. You'll probably see a lot of your own ideas like in my videos because I take a lot of inspiration from you.
Oh,
Um,
awesome. Keep it up. You can totally have all my little nuggets. Throw them on your
I
TikTok.
will.
Like,
Oh my
I don't
gosh, I
want to
will.
do it. I don't want to do it.
When you do it, eventually we can collaborate on something. And
Right? Oh my
also,
gosh, so
I'm
stoked.
in Clubhouse too. That's a relatively new platform as we're recording
Yeah.
this now, but I think on there we're just Milk Bliss as well. And we're going to try to start putting together some type of like regular room on Clubhouse that's can support and connect moms to some
Cool.
resources that they need. So that's not quite up and running yet, but hopefully by the time this launches,
Yeah.
it will be.
That's cool. I'm really sick of like Zoom get-togethers, you know what I mean? But new moms, they need connection. And if that's all we can do right now, then like we need to do it. So that's really cool that you're doing that.
Yeah, Clubhouse is a
So
great application if you can get on there. And you just type in breastfeeding as like one of your interests. I've seen a lot of support on there, and you can just kind of go and listen. You can ask a question too, but if nobody can see you, which is what's nice. Like you can just show up in your pajamas,
yeah.
and if somebody has a room that's open, it's almost like a chat room, except for it's talking. So it's a really interesting new way to be able to connect people to resources
Hmm.
that they might have to pay for in a normal world, and be able to just say, hey, here's my issue. And a lactation consultant might be there and say, hey, look, here's what you do. So it's very interesting.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for explaining that because I have not ventured into learning much about Clubhouse yet.
Yeah. I
So
think it's going to be
that's
a
really
big
cool.
spot, for certain industries, but I definitely think anybody in the service industry, or if you're seeking information or you have a need, it's going to be good for that.
Cool. We'll put a bunch of these links and stuff down in the show notes. We're just going to fill up those show notes with sweet links for you guys
Nice.
because I think between the two of us, we can really make it cool down there.
Yeah, for good.
Yeah.
That's true.
Is there any kind of last piece of advice as we finish up here that you'd like to share with moms? Either some encouragement or a little nugget from your journey, anything at all?
Yeah, love encouragement. I think that whatever you want to do, and whatever I always say this, like whatever works for you as a mom is like that's the right thing for you. If breastfeeding is your journey, like there are tons of us, like me and you, and other people who will support you in that. And if it's not, like that's okay too. Like most moms are doing the absolute best they can for their kids and they're making it work, in whatever way they can. And like I am here to support whatever it is, that you're doing. I'm like a super non judgmental, like no shaming type of mom because we all are doing the absolute best we can in our circumstances.
Yeah, I love that. We need more encouragement like that for these moms out there.
Yeah.
And your Instagram and your business is a great place for that non-judgmental support. I'm trying to do that the same over there.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see all of our listeners on this episode over there.
Hope so.
So I love that.
Yeah.
Jessica, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I know you're busy. You've got a little one too, but I really appreciate it. This was a great chat and I think it's going to really help a lot of moms.
Oh, good.
So
Thank you so
thanks
much for
taking the
having me. I
time.
really appreciate it.
You can find, like I said, everything down in the show notes for today. You can also see more about New Little Life on my website, which is newlittlelife.com. And don't forget to check out Jessica as well on milkbliss.com. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye, Jessica.
Bye.